What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and today we're going to be talking about the sages, their abilities, and what order I would personally recommend you go about obtaining them in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Just a heads up, at the very end of the video there are going to be some spoilers. However, for a majority of this video I am just going to be talking about the 4 parts of regional phenomena, and then the sage that you are going to be helping, and the ability that you are going to be getting. I'm going to give you another spoiler warning before, more information later. I'm going to describe what that spoiler is, and then if you want to watch that portion or not, that's completely up to you. As soon as you start off the game, you're going to be getting the quest Regional Phenomena from, I believe, Pura. And she's going to say you should make your way to the 4 different races and help them out all throughout Hyrule, including the Rito of Hebra Mountain, the Goron of Eldon, the Zora of Lanayru, and the Gerudo of Gerudo. The individual people are going to be Tullin, who is the son of... why do I keep forgetting his name? The White Bird, who was the descendant of Revali from Breath of the Wild. You're going to be having Yonobo, who is going to be the descendant of Daruk from the Goron race.
Is it really you?
There is Sidon, who is the brother of Mipha, who was the champion in Breath of the Wild of the Zora race.
I didn't expect to see you here.
And there is Riju, the ruler of Gerudo Town and successor of Urbosa, the champion from Breath of the Wild. These 4 parts of regional phenomena result in you getting abilities. In the same way that in Breath of the Wild you got champions abilities, in this game you're going to be getting sage abilities. As you're going to see right here, I have the Vow of Tullin, Sage of the Wind. Let's talk about the sage's abilities. First, we're going to be talking about Tullin. Tullin is going to give you the ability to push wind forward, which can be used on the ground and while you are paragliding. While you're on the ground, you have to interact with Tullin, and then anytime that you want, you just hit A again, and that's going to gust things forward, which can be used to push enemies or items or materials in a certain direction. Say, for example, you take out some fire fruit, or you defeat a bokoblin who is carrying some fire fruit, you can then gust those fire fruit forward, and that's going to make fire far away, which can be used to attack enemies, make updrafts, or just get fire really far away without consuming an arrow. I personally would still consume an arrow. I've never actually done this in combat. It's cumbersome and wasteful. However, Tullin's ability also increases your ability to traverse. While you're paragliding, he's going to be showing up behind you and letting you fly so far forward. From there to here on his one draft. That's because that anytime that you are in his horizontal wind, you are not losing any altitude whatsoever, making Tullin absolutely phenomenal for traversing. Tullin's combat abilities. Tullin is a fantastic shot. Tullin will very often just land headshots on enemies, and then some enemies are completely stunned when you land a headshot. So because of that, his combat potential is, in my opinion, some of the best. Let's talk about Yonobo the Goron. Yonobo has the ability to curl up into a giant ball. He's then going to remain in front of you. You're not able to run forward. And then anytime that you want, you can have him charge forward. He's then going to be leaving an extremely long draft of fire that you can use to perpetually just paraglide up and up and up and forward. And then if you combine that with Tullin, you're able to get over a large grass field very quickly. Like this. Let's go. Charge forward. Using these 2 champions, I was able to go from ground level to over here while consuming 0 resources. And that's pretty fantastic. You can use this in combat whenever there's going to be a large encampment of enemies. So over here, you're going to be seeing this boss bokoblin and these little bokoblins. And the more together that they are, the better. And he's going to go and then knock straight into the enemies. From here, now I could go into the air, and now I could get some bullet time. And he was able to do all that with his 1 charge attack. Disrupt the enemy forces, create fire for you to then be more versatile. And then, even though that dude was holding a shield, he was no match for Yonobo skyrocketing right at his face. If you're in an area that has a large amount of rock, giant rock walls, you could take Yonobo, face him toward the rock, and clear out a fairly large area without any consumption of resources. The worst part is where he goes to and how long his cooldown takes makes it kind of inconvenient, to be honest with you. Okay, so he's cleared. I now have a lot more rocks, and now I have to wait the rest of the 10 seconds for him to recharge. And then sometimes he likes to just kind of walk away. Stop going away. We're clearing out rocks, dude. You're Goron. You love rocks. He got stuck on this first rock here at the front, and now because of that, it's gonna take him longer. So yes, while he can be used to clear out rocks, honestly, take out a cannon, attach it to any shield, especially the Hylian shield, and you're gonna be able to fire off rock-breaking shots much faster. And if you put on the Hylian shield, it's pretty much never gonna break. So while yes, Yonobo is handy to be able to help you with clearing out rock and rubble and everything, it's far outclassed. If you're out of shields in a sticky situation or want to clear out a large amount of enemies, then yes, he's definitely preferred. However, he does have a unique rock that only he is able to clear out. Inside of the Elden region, you may come across these very large red rocks, like you see right in front of you. These rocks can only be broken by Yonobo. I can't use bomb arrows right here because I'm in a cave and they would just explode in front of my face. But if I take out my trusty cannon shield attached to a Hylian shield, you're gonna see it doesn't do anything. Stand here till you're blue in the face. This specific rock can only be broken by Yonobo. When you're in the Elden region around Goron City, as long as you start Yonobo's quest, you can clear out a good amount of these rocks. However, the further you are away from Goron City, you're not able to clear them out. In order to complete, you know, Booble gems and shrines and stuff like that, because I know for a fact that this shrine located right here, you have to enter this cave, and this cave is blocked by one of those rocks. So I can't reach this cave until I start this quest line. Let's talk about the brother of your fish fiance, Sidon. Sidon is pretty unique because he's going to give you water elemental attacks, which the only way to have a water elemental attack is to attach a choo-choo jelly or an opal to arrows and I think weapons. Let's fuse an opal to this stick. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, water weapons. Wasn't really a thing in Breath of the Wild, but now it is. However, Sidon's ability makes it so that when you choose Let's Go, you're then going to be covered in a circle of water, which acts similar to Daruk's protection that he's going to be blocking one attack for you every 10 seconds, but you do have to interact with him. And it only lasts for 10 seconds. So I interact with him, I'm surrounded by a water bubble, and you see how the Let's Go meter is recharging? After those 10 seconds are up, it's gone. If I choose Let's Go again and then I do an attack, that is going to be a water-based attack. There's going to be the weapon that I'm hitting with is going to be water-based, and then going out is going to be water-based. In addition to that, you are now covered in water, which is pretty neat. See how Link is dripping right now? That means that you are resistant to fire damage, and you're going to be flame-proof for a short period of time. So you don't actually have to get the Flamebreaker armor as long as you interact with him and cover yourself in water every 30 seconds, which yes, extremely cumbersome, but it is a workaround. However, this truly excels if you happen to have a Zora-based weapon. The Zora-based weapons double their damage whenever the weapon is wet. So anytime that it's raining, anytime that you're in a wet cave, anytime that you just left water, or anytime that you interact with Sidon, you're now going to be doing double damage with Zora weapons, which is pretty neat. And in combat, he has a light scale trident, and he smacks people with a trident, and that's all I can really say about him. Let's talk about Riju, the Sage of Lightning. No longer thunder, just lightning. So anytime that you interact with her, you're gonna see her sword go up and a large yellow circle on the ground. This is going to be her radius of her lightning strike. It's actually a fairly large radius. So if you go ahead, pull out an arrow and loose an arrow anywhere within this field, wherever the arrow lands, you are going to be having a lightning strike. If I shoot outside of the circle, no lightning strike. If I shoot inside of the circle, lightning strike. This can be used to stun large groups of enemies. There's one specific thing that's required to have a lightning strike, which is going to be a lightning pedestal, which are going to be present pretty much only in the Gerudo region. However, I do know of exactly one puzzle that requires this. If you played Breath of the Wild, you may remember that giant electric target on a wall here at the Gerudo Highlands, and that you had to shoot a lightning arrow at that wall in order to complete a shrine quest and unlock a shrine. Well, that lightning strike pedestal now has a giant hole in the wall, and inside of that is a cave. There's a lightning pedestal inside of it. I think there's just one large zonite in that chest. That's all I found so far. I don't know if it's actually required for you to enable any shrine or cave throughout the entire game. While yes, it's cool having to interact with her to actually be able to do it and then wait for her circle to actually expand enough and then it can wear out, kind of cumbersome. So if you were to ask my order between which of the 4 regional phenomena you should do first, 100% Tullin. Every single time, Tullin is the best. In the same way that Revali was the most useful for traversal in Breath of the Wild, Tullin is the most useful for traversal in Tears of the Kingdom. Secondly, I would go with Yonobo, because one thing I didn't mention before is anytime that you build a machine that involves flying, being on a minecart, being on some sort of road-based thing. Here's a hovercraft that I just built. If I get on top of it, Yonobo, as soon as I actually pick up momentum, goes to the front, and now he is a free cannon shot. And the best part about this is, as long as he makes contact with an enemy, he is going to immediately bounce back and respawn for you. If he bounces off to the abyss, his respawn time is horrible. And as long as you're moving, he's gonna be there. But as soon as you stop moving, he stops being there. It makes every single vehicle that you pilot so much more useful. I would say Yonobo, easily second. Also, the fire temple that's involved with Yonobo, best temple in the game, 100%. I'm also prejudiced because I love trains. Big Thomas energy over here. And yeah, Yonobo's temple is all minecart based. Absolutely love it. Can't say enough good things about it. My favorite temple by far. Third, honestly, the other 2, their abilities aren't that fantastic in my opinion. But you know, if I had to pick between Zora and Gerudo, I'm gonna have to go with my fish fiance's brother. Sidon's ability is neat. It has some overworld use, but the ability to just completely soak yourself in water to negate fire damage, while again, very situational. Ignore being burned, very situational. And also improve the power of Zora weapons, very situational. It has more utility over Riju. That also has to do with Riju's quest line, which I would recommend saving for 4th, because while her quest line is going on, there's going to be horrible sandstorms all throughout the Gerudo region, and an enemy called a Gibdo is going to be present. Gibdo are very easy to defeat, and their drop is one of the best things to attach to an arrow. I farmed up 145 during her quest line. And if you fuse it to an arrow, it gives you an additional 40 damage. And if you happen to have the radiant armor upgraded, which gives you bone weapon proficiency, that 40 is multiplied by 1.8. That means that this arrow attachment is 72. If you also have attack 3-up potion on, then that 72 is going to be times 1.5, which is what, like 115, 120, some number like that. And then you put that on a 5-shot Lionel bow, you're now doing 700 damage with 1 arrow loose. It's absolutely insane how much damage you can do with this one thing. You can pretty much take down any level of Lionel in 1 bullet time with 5 of those bones being fused to it. That's the reason I don't do her early, because I want to farm up those Gibdo anytime that I want. Granted, yes, since then I did come up with the way that you can have a 198 weapon, which is a lot more convenient. Also getting the multiplier of the radiant armor or the evil spirit armor mixed with an attack up 3, you can hit 800 damage per hit. And yes, that's a lot more useful, but still, as far as arrows go, those Gibdo bones, solid, dude. Quick recap: Tullin first, always and forever, never ever save him. Second, Yonobo, just because of utility, combat utility, make a whole bunch of fire anywhere that you want, fly high up in the sky, can't say enough good things. Third, might as well go for the Zora. Fourth, always Gerudo. The utility of having her doing a lightning strike. Yeah, it's cool. You can set some grass on fire, but Yonobo does that. It's handy against fighting Moldugas, granted, but like, that's all I really gotta say. We are now reaching a point in the video that I'm going to be talking about what you may or may not consider a spoiler. It has to do with this that was shown in official preview footage. If you know what this is, feel free to continue watching. But just to describe what I'm going to be talking about, and you can make the decision if you consider that a spoiler or if you would like to watch afterward. I'm going to be talking about a series of quests that takes place after completing the 4 parts of Regional Phenomena. You're then tasked with going to Hyrule Castle for a thing. You're then tasked with going to Kakariko Village for a thing. You're then tasked with going to the Faron region for a thing. You're then tasked with going and clearing out the thunderstorm above Faron region. And then the thing that I'm going to be talking about is going to take place. If you don't want to know about that specific thing, which isn't really a story spoiler at all, more of a game mechanic spoiler. If you don't want to hear about that, do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm gonna have a card booping right now. Feel free to watch that video or any of the other videos on my channel, or not watching videos on my channel is always an option. Thank you for being here. And the bar ran out. Great. And this thing is going to be talking about the 5th sage. Minoru is the construct that you are going to be building while you are playing the game. To the construct factory, which then you're going to be doing like a 2-hour quest in order to build this construct for Minoru, the Sage of Spirit. You're then going to be having to go from there into the Spirit Temple, which is the 5th temple located down here, which is then going to unlock a couple of vendors like the smithing construct, some cool stuff from there. And you're also able to ride Minoru around. Minoru, you're going to be able to attach whatever Zonai devices that you want, and then you're going to be able to fire them off. Like, my right arm is a cannon, so anytime that I hold R is going to be a cannon. Anytime that you are firing these Zonai devices, it is going to be taking from your personal battery. If you don't have anything equipped, you just kind of do this whiplash thing, and you can also have a back item attached. If it's a rocket, you're going to get verticality. If it's a fan, you're going to be able to run faster. I haven't tested all the things because I don't know what all the things do, because I've been trying to remain as spoiler-free throughout my entire explanation of this game so far. While you're on Minoru, you can also pull out your bow and arrow and then loose an arrow. Now, if you are not a fan of building a super overpowered flying device out of Zonai devices, oh, I got a roasted bird drumstick, then having Minoru to traverse the depths is very useful. She is immune to gloom, and while you're on top of here, you can attack enemies. Granted, you are a little bit more limited because you can't use any of your melee weapons. You have to stay on top of the upkeep as far as what is attached to her, which can be kind of a pain. Aiming while on Minoru isn't the most accurate, and then also you're not able to use any of your abilities. So you can't use Ascend, you can't use Fuse, you can't use Ultra Hand. You have to dismount her, which requires you hitting B, which then puts you in the dismount position, and then you have to hit A. I hate that so much. I want to be able to just hit the jump button and jump off. I want to be able to just get off of her quickly, because she can fight alongside you in combat. As long as she has things attached, she's going to be doing a great job. She can shield, she can do melee attacks. If you give her cannons and everything else like that, then from a distance, she's going to be shooting off the cannons. If you give her short range weapons, she's going to be doing short range damage. The problem is having her with the other champions out, she's kind of cumbersome, and her ability to move around and help you out isn't the best. While the theory is there, it seems like they specifically made her not too powerful. Yeah, it's cool that you could just hop on Minoru and then she could just use a cannon to shoot at a giant rock wall, which is then going to forego durability that would be on a shield. That's probably one of the most useful things. But if you have a Hylian shield with a cannon on it, just use that. Being on the ground and being able to, you know, use this cannon shield anytime you want, in my opinion, much more useful than Minoru, especially if you have more than one Hylian shield. I think one of the neatest parts about Minoru is you can get her anytime. That series of quests that I talked about isn't actually necessary to get Minoru. For me, I decided that after I got Tullin, I was going to explore a lot more. And then I just kind of made my way to the Thunderhead Islands, found the Vitality Door, only had 9 hearts. There's a statue right here. I redeemed another heart, and then I just did the questline, which was so much fun. And you can unlock her as your first sage if you want to. It's sort of a neat thing that there's a 5th hidden sage and you can get it anytime. Like, yes, Zelda team, fantastic job. Curveball right at the end there. You thought it was just going to be the same song and dance with 4 champions. Surprise, there's a 5th, who's the Sage of Spirit from 10,000 years ago with the memories. Like, top-notch job on that fun little curveball there. And then the fact that you can just do it anytime that you want. A+. A+ game design. Like, it's things like this that you don't hear about when people aren't talking about spoilers that are in the back of our heads like, bro, the fact that they decided to do this, it's Nintendo. You're not expecting them to pull out things like this on top of a game that, you know, they spent the last year after it was done to just polish it. Minoru's fun. It's just one simple quest line. It's an isolated area. It takes about 2 hours to complete. Where would I rank Minoru? I personally would get Minoru before clearing out Gerudo. I would make her my 4th sage, and then I would get Riju last. Because the storm isn't really that inconvenient. There's no weapons or armor that are locked behind her story progression, other than the Sword of the 6 Sages. No, that's not what it's called. I don't know, whatever the Gerudo Scimitar upgrade is, which doubles fuse power, but then lessens durability. Might as well go for the Light Scale Trident instead with the Zora questline. That's my thoughts, views, and opinions on which sages of the 5 you should unlock in what order. Oh, you also might want to know which ones you should upgrade. It just goes by their actual combat damage. So 1, Tullin, 2, Yonobo, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter, whoever you use most in battle. Probably having Minoru's damage upgraded first might be helpful, although I haven't done any sort of testing between with and without. I'm just thinking, you know, if I get a 30, 50, or 100% buff, yeah, I want that on all the Zonai devices that she's going to be carrying. Well, great. Guys, I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you made it to this portion here at the end, do me a favor, let's keep the comment section spoiler-free for the people who didn't want to know about Minoru. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, Austin John out.